We are continuing President's Week in the British Columbia Football Conference, and we are speaking now to Brenda Currie, President of the Valley Huskers. Hello, Brenda.
Hi there, Blake.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thank you.
And you're going to see a blatant commercial in the background. We've got Home Life Realty.
Yes.
Give us a plug, or give yourself a plug.
Yes, I work for Home Life Realty Chilliwack Limited, and we are in our downtown office, and I've been here for 28 years.
So we're giving Brenda a bit of a plug because I think a lot of people don't know that, you know, all our presidents and you're all doing this for volunteer, and you know, it's
we're all pretty well business people.
You're all pretty well business people, and I guess to a point it probably does help your business a little bit just through giving back to the community. Some people know what you do and maybe create some business, but it does take time away from your business as well, and you're having to put in longer hours than you would otherwise.
Yes,
for sure,
definitely.
So there's the plug. Home Life Realty. If you're thinking of buying or selling real estate in Chilliwack, who should they call?
You should call Brenda Currie.
There you go.
604-703-3335.
Okay, now back to football. So Brenda, we're in Chilliwack. Let's just talk about the Huskers. Let's talk about how long have you been with the Valley Huskers? I know you go way back.
Since 1999. We were I co-founded it with my husband Keith Currie and a few other people from here, and actually I think we had a board of about 15 when we started. Yeah.
Okay. And Keith was the president at one time.
Keith was the founding president. Okay. Yes.
So when the Huskers came to be, you got pretty successful pretty quick. You were a threat at the time. You had Dave Haynes as the head coach.
Yes.
Went through some pains there. You had a few lean years.
Yes, we did.
And because we're talking about the business aspect of junior football when we're talking to the presidents, I mean, and it was so long ago, maybe you can't even remember exactly, but fundraising and marketing, did you see a marked difference? Was it that much easier when the team was winning versus the lean years versus, again, to last year with the success you had? How much does winning parlay into success in the
Well,
market?
I think that sponsors all want to support a winning team. When we started out, we're kind of unique that Chilliwack's quite a giving community. So they helped us get started. We needed $14,000, and I was the head of fundraising at the time. And so we sold our yearbook ads and we raised that money. And then, so we have been pretty steady in our fundraising. We have ticket draws, and also too is we're one of the 49 charities that are involved with the gaming center in Chilliwack, and so we get 20 years of part of the gaming funds from the Chilliwack Chances for 20 years. Yeah.
So that's huge for your football team, and enables you to.
I actually worked on that because I sold the property that the gaming center is on as well, and I actually worked on that for all the charities in Chilliwack. I was the BC rep for the Bingo Association, and then which ended up being sold to Great Canadian, and so so we are a member in there, and that's helped all the charities and different 49 charities in Chilliwack actually.
So as far as marketing the Valley Huskers, I mean, Chilliwack is the epitome of a bedroom community, I guess you'd call it. What's the population here now?
Probably around 80,000.
Okay, so I gather probably everybody knows if they got any interest in sports at all. They know who the Huskers are. That's not a problem you have in terms of getting people to recognize your brand?
No, we've actually, they all know our brand. We're out there fundraising all the time. We're in Save On Foods. We're in Chances Casino. They help us by giving us tables in their places so that we are able to be out in the public on a consistent basis. Yeah.
So back to my question before now. Winning. How much of a difference, like you said, people want to be associated with a winner. Did you see that last year in terms of success marketing wise, or is that just starting to pay dividends now because you had such a turnaround year last year, but was it too late to capitalize on that?
No, we have people now that actually are waiting for our tickets, and they are stopping us in the street, congratulating us, and there are our volunteers have worked so hard at of being out there, and people from the community are now giving us, they're, instead of giving us a small donation sponsorship, they're actually upping their donations and their sponsorship to us because of our success and our hard work that we had put in.
So you're counting on growing things for 2020 over
Yes.
what happened in 2019.
Yes, we are.
So your fan support's always been pretty good to excellent in Chilliwack. Even in those lean years, you could always seem to count on fan support. We always boast in the British Columbia Football Conference about our facilities and our stadiums. There's not many cooler views than to be sitting at Exhibition Stadium with that mountain in the background.
Yes, and the city has been really good to us there, and we have probably top of the line facilities for football in Chilliwack.
Is that Mount Baker that you can see? I've always wondered when I sit there what that is.
Mount Baker's that
the
way.
The other way? Okay, I've turned around. I'm directly.
No, that's Mount Sham.
Okay, so we are still looking at Canada when we look at.
Yeah.
Okay, so for those of you that don't know, I mean, Chilliwack you're just about as close to the border as you can get here.
Yeah.
So let's. I would be remiss if I. On one hand, it's unfortunate that I have to mention this, but I have to mention this. You are the only female president in the BCFC. It was
Yes,
recently International Women's Day.
Yes.
It's a man's world.
Yes, it is.
Do you feel outnumbered? What's it like being the lone women around the president's table? Although we do have a female director.
Yes. Well, at times, you sort of, you have to be able to stand your ground.
Oh, you stand your ground very well. I've heard you.
Yeah, so, but because I've been around for 20 years, I think I know most of the fellows that are involved and they're pretty respectful and courteous to me. So, yeah, I think I have a pretty good relationship with most of the people involved in football, both in our organization and in the BCFC. So I think that it's a new world. The players have no problem with it because they've grown up in a little bit different era than some of the older people. But it's been very good, that point about it. Yeah.
Any challenges as far as being a woman in a male-dominated sport, or?
Yeah, there is at times, but you just work with it, and you just keep on going, and but in the most part, the male counterparts are pretty respectful.
You've almost got them trained to just say yes, Brenda, around the table.
Yeah, I try that.
So the Huskers, we talked a little bit about marketing and how that works for you. Your team, and again, this is kind of a coaching question, I guess, for Bob, but he's bringing in so many players. We joke that you're Winnipeg West in Chilliwack now, because there's not a lot of football in Chilliwack. You do recruit heavily on the prairies. How big a challenge is that in terms of housing and jobs? And this is your opportunity to give a bit of a commercial to somebody in Chilliwack that might be looking at this and saying, "Hey, I want to get involved and help house a Husker," or whatever.
Yes, Irene Spalding is in charge of our billeting program. She does an amazing job, and she's working on this as we speak. She's always looking for billets, good billets. She's also she forms a relationship with the billet parents so that they at least have some support, and she does an outstanding job. So if anyone would like to billet, the Huskers players pay $600, and that includes their food and their
So it's important that a billet understands it's not a money maker, but it's an opportunity to have a son in the house for a year or two, and if your children are growing, it gives you that feeling back. We've got a car honking in the background, and or potentially if you've got kids at home you bring a big brother into the family.
Yes, and some of the billets, like they billet the kid for the first year, and then the next year they make their own arrangements, and they become part of the family. So it's, that part of it is really good. And lots of times I know one young billet, actually their billet father became ill, and he helped look after him and cooked for him, and so just to help him until he got out of until he could get moving around and that sort of thing. So there's we always try to work together with our billet families and make them part of our Husker family too.
Talk billets, and you've been around so long. Maybe I'm putting you on the spot here. I've been doing that, but been around 20 years. Give me a memory. And I hope I'm not putting you on the spot. Give me a memory. Give me a player, something that stands out in your mind. If you're going to go back into your memory banks and talk about one special kid or one special situation that makes you, for every time you bang your head against a wall that you're spending so much time on football, that one thing made it worth it.
Well, I think there's several stories. There's some of the kids come here and it's their first year, and I always tell everybody the first year, be flexible, because this is their first year away from home, and then by the second year, they're kind of getting their wings, and by the third year they're flying, and we're in the business of making they go from boys to men while they're here, and so many of them move on to universities or help in their community or whatever. So I can name I could name a kid for every single year, and the one that Dave Haynes, it was under Dave Haynes, there was a boy, my husband actually met him in, this was our early years. He met him in the mall and said, "Hey, I hear you're a pretty tough guy, and you want to come out and try out for our football team." And he said yes. And he had some problems. He had been, he was actually had a few personal problems. He was in junior high. He had a child already, and he had lots of things to persevere. And that young man went, his mom made us buckets of potato salad, because he did a 360 in his life. And when he graduated out of our program, there wasn't a dry eye in the place, because he got the most inspirational player, because he went from a kid that could have been going down the wrong path and had started down the wrong path to absolutely great example of what a fine young man should be. And he pops in every once in a while, and we still have a good relationship with him, and he has done wonderful in his life.
That's the thing about this age group, that 18 to 21, 22, 18, 20, they really are becoming men. So football can turn them around.
Yes,
right?
Yeah, and especially for those, some of them have lost parents we've had two that lost parents at an early age when they were playing for us. One boy was the first year, and he went by the fifth year. He was like a leader on the team, and it helped him, but he also helped all the other players on the team to get over a lot of adversity and that sort of thing. He's now playing university football. So
I've talked to a couple of other presidents about the fact that the Canadian Bowl is in British Columbia this year. So obviously that's the focus for our teams. 2 years ago, I don't think we would have been talking about the Huskers, the Canadian Bowl being a focus. And maybe you're a dark horse this year, maybe you're not. Maybe you're first place, but we'll find out shortly. But based upon what you did last year, I think everybody knows you're a threat this year. The Huskers, you hosted the Canadian Bowl in 2003?
Yes.
As a neutral site.
Yeah.
I think the Rebels and the Hilltops played that year. You hosted it as a neutral site, so you weren't in the game, but let's just talk about what the all eyes of the Canadian Junior Football League in Chilliwack, what did that do in terms of excitement in the city and building the Huskers brand? Did that
It was huge for here. It was a huge undertaking. We hadn't done it before, but all the community had grouped together and they formed a committee outside. There was partially Husker people and partially just business people in the community, and I thought it went extremely well as far organizational wise. Yeah, so we actually are hoping that we are going to be in it, because we've had a practice run at it, organizational wise, and we can bring that experience to the Canadian Bowl again.
I think that was the last year, unless I'm mistaken, that was the last year there was a neutral site for the Canadian Bowl. And that gets talked about every once in a while. Should we look at neutral sites? And there's that whole argument, yes, it gives you time to plan as the host city. No, the home fans may not get to see their football team. Where do you stand as somebody that's been there? Do you have a thought on it?
Well, I think that it's always, there's two ways to look at it. Like having your own team in there, in your own town, I think brings in, is exciting. I think the only good thing about a neutral site is that you can plan it way ahead of time. It's good for media. There's a lot of benefits to that too. So I'm I sort of am 50-50 on that. I think that there is something to playing in your own town with your own players and your own team. But also too is that the planning stage is so short that really a neutral site actually gives you more time to prepare.
So like we said, just get to the Canadian Bowl this year as the home team, and the whole issue of whether you're a host city or not, nice problem. If you're in the game, nice problem to have if you didn't have time to plan.
Yeah, right? That's right.
So let's talk about 2019 President's Week. This is all about selling your product. Let's give the Huskers a commercial, whether it's tickets or marketing. Sell your team. Okay,
so we're right now we're out banging on business doors for our yearbook and our banners at the field. Our marketing squad is out there. So if the Huskers show up on your doorstep and they want to take a look at our ads and our banners at the field, because we do a really good job. We've been cultivating it for 20 years, and I think it's a great program. So that's one thing. And now the Huskers have been doing a grocery draw a couple times a year now, and part of the proceeds goes to the local food bank. Last year we raised buying power of about $9,000 for the food bank, and this year we're doing a little bit different. We're going to be still doing the grocery draw from Save On Foods, but before we do that, we're doing a 50-50 draw, and if we sell out, we're only selling 1,000 tickets. So if we sell out, and they're going fast, because I sold the last 2 days, I've sold like $800 worth of tickets, and just myself, and there's a lot of other sellers out there. And if we sell out, the grand prize is $10,000. So those are going to be up online in the next week or so. And in the meantime, if you go onto our website, you can get the information there.
What's your domain name?
It's valleyhuskers.ca.
Okay.
So we have a new website, so it's valleyhuskers.ca, and or you can call me and we'll get you some tickets. So and I think it's a great prize, $10,000, and it'll be drawn in June at Chances Casino.
Okay. Throw your number on there one more time, Brenda.
604-703-3335.
Okay. And your logo, we're talking about branding and everything. You rebranded yourself from the old V that you've had for many years. I think you had a football before that.
Yeah.
That scarecrow.
Yes.
Is the scariest looking logo in the CJFL, bar none.
Yes.
How did that come about?
Oh, Bob actually designed it when he first decided that once we decided that he was going to be our head coach, and he said we needed something to kind of jazz things up, and our players love it, and it's just been a big hit. So, yeah. So.
Get people scared to walk around Chilliwack at night thinking they might run into that thing. Does he have a name? What is he? Is it just?
No, we haven't named him yet, but we've come up with a few suggestions, but no. And hopefully, what we were trying to do is we would get a mascot and we'd name it, but we haven't got that far yet.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Well, thanks for doing this, Brenda. We appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, Blake.
And good luck to the Huskers in